I find that there isn't much to say. There is really no teaching as such. You are the self, you are the one reality. And it is through your interest, your contemplation, your exploration, your love for truth that you return home. Returning home is a journey from here to here. It's a journey that you do not take in time and space. You simply awaken to your true nature. It's an immediate awakening, and upon this awakening, you release the remaining traces of ignorance, the vasanas that remain in your space. Anyways, if you have any questions. Hello, Ananda. You're right, your guidance speaks for itself. But what is the value of establishing a teacher-student link? Ananda, at some point in your journey, you meet a teacher. It's inevitable. There is, in a way, very, 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 very few instances where you are teacherless. So in most cases, at some point in time along your journey, you meet your final teacher, but along the path you meet many teachers. So you meet teachers that with whom, in interacting with them, there are various revelations, various insights into your true nature, into various aspects of your just bringing more clarification. It's more like a shedding of certain structures, certain beliefs, certain habits, certain places where you're still identified. So along the path, you meet many guides, and the guides take various forms. They could be friends, of course. Life is a great guide all along. All along, there is life that disappoints you, that doesn't meet your expectations. There are certain conditions that you are sort of brought up in, maybe family structures, or certain patterns you've inherited from your educational system, and so life will come and rub against these positions that you have taken in life. Any position that you take in life has a certain rigidity in it, has a certain identification in it, a certain me position, a stand, sort of a form of resistance, or a form of argumentation, a certain desire for things to be different. And throughout your journey, you fall, your interest in truth increases, and at some point in time you fall in love. And once you fall in love with truth, then your love for truth, the self itself, which is love, truth itself, which is love, becomes your guide. You can't turn away from it, and it is light. It's sort of, it is intelligence, it is wisdom, it is love. So it directs you. It's grace. It leads you to out of the tunnel, out of the ignorance, out of the darkness. And in terms of meeting a teacher, at some point in time you meet a teacher who sort of, in interacting with your teacher, the final knots are undone.
Makes sense.
The destination is the self. It's complete abidance as the self. A complete abidance as the self. And so it's the end of the wavering, the end of the going back and forth in terms of happiness, unhappiness. It's just a recognizing yourself across the board, an effortless recognition that is not at the mind level, that is at the metaphysical level. It's a complete merging into the self, where you are in effortless peace and tranquility. In the end of the argumentation, the mind is completely dissolved in bliss and peace. And at the depth of your being, you know that's what you want. There is no way, when it's clear for you that you're not looking for a compromise. It's very beautiful, because the worst trickster is yourself. You trick yourself. But when you're clear that you really want the absolute revelation of truth, then you no longer are tricking yourself, and nobody else can trick you, because whoever is tricking you has to go through you to trick you. But since you are not tricking yourself, whatever comes to you is filtered. The false is filtered out, and only the truth remains.
There's almost a sense of, in conventional thinking, that someone who takes the role of a final teacher must have some, like, arrogance or something to even think that way.
Well, the teacher doesn't think that way. The true teacher doesn't think they're a teacher. There is no such thought. It's just love, just presence. And the teacher is really the self. So in a way, it's the teacher is complete transparency. It's when you come to the teacher, you're coming to yourself. You're coming to the truth, which is a complete openness. It's not the truth that resides in this person. It's not that way. You could say that the person is an appearance. That's a sweet appearance that attracts you. But it attracts you to kill you, to end you. It attracts you to dissolve in the self through the form. The form is sort of a trickster, maybe not a trickster, no. It's a subterfuge. It's the shiny. It's just to get your attention, to bring you to the friendship. You know, teacher is a friend. Is a sweet, loving person that no matter, even when the teacher speaks harshly,
Mm.
or seemingly harshly,
Mm.
you are connected at the love level, and you sort of it's it's so the teacher who thinks that they are a teacher is it's still not it's still an interim teacher. It's not.
Yes,
It's
I
still a
see that.
teacher that's on the path. It's a friend that's
Mm.
still on the path, on the journey.
Right.
But the self is not on a journey. The self
Mm.
is complete freedom and peace and joy and happiness and well-being.
Mm. Because everyone, because there's a personality for every body mind,
Yes,
it's
yes,
easy to it's easy to wonder where somebody's at, until you, like you say, fall in love or just know
yeah,
through some kind of intuition
yeah,
whether the person likes
yeah.
to use the stick because they like it,
Mm.
or because it's the self moving, for
Mm.
example.
You know,
And
like
what appeals to me is a loving approach. That's for certain. Certain.
you don't know how, when, or with whom, or where you fall in love.
Mm.
You don't know. You
Yeah.
could be you could be in the marketplace buying some tomatoes, and somehow you meet somebody, you might not even exchange any words, or you may. You don't know
Hmm.
when and how, with whom you fall in love. But in terms of our conversation, you're falling in love with truth.
Yes.
So falling in love with truth is it's already uh, it's already at some point it's already there. You're
Right.
already in love with truth, and your love for truth it, it brings to you all what you need. So a teacher, although there is a personality,
Mm.
the teacher is beyond the personality. There is a personality,
Yes.
but there is something beyond the personality
Yes.
that that the personality also expresses, but there is an expression that is that is not of the senses, that is not through the words or through the gestures,
Right.
that's in the presence.
Yes.
And but also the personality uh, expresses how to live the truth in this dream, in this
Yeah.
celebratory dream.
Mm.
When you are with your teacher, you notice their way, their way
Mm.
of speaking, of being, of moving, of
Mhm.
their humor, their wit, their
One thing I
it's
enjoy, I've been watching some of your previous satsang videos, and I like your pantomime of a triggered person or an upset person. Oh my
oh.
gosh! Oh no, my hair! Oh no, my retirement! And that makes it so clear what we're looking at and
Yeah.
what we're free from.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, really.
Yeah, I've had many years of rehearsal, you
It's hard to imagine, but I suppose we all do, unless we're born in the lotus somehow.
Yes.
Hmm. But if you have any more to say, it would be great. Otherwise, thank you so much. That was very very clear. And
Yeah. Your, your teacher is your friend, and it's you want to spend time with your friend. You want to, have coffee with them. You want to interact with them. You want to, have dinner with them. You want to chat with them. And to be with your teacher and interacting with them is part of the teaching. Besides satsang, and I'm talking like whichever interaction you have with the teacher, there is a teaching that about how to live as consciousness that is imparted to you in silence, just in interacting with the teacher, that goes much deeper than answering any question that you may have. It's package. It's part of the. So when you fall in love, there is already the love. There's already this oneness. But then there is living together. Sharing time together, sharing meals together, and having conversations together, and being in various life situations together. And that's part of it. It's part of the love. It's part of the deepening appreciation, and also getting sort of settled in the relationship. In this case, like being settled into living according to the self, according to consciousness.
Right, which is, I guess, part of that package of fullness in the reality of truth, not just an idea, not just good essays in the head.
Right, living, life goes on, and there is a way of living that is imbued with the revelation of, imbued with love, with beauty, with happiness, with joy, with freedom. And so it's part of the ongoing contemplation and ongoing sort of learning how to live it.
Yeah. Yes. It's and this is just kind of a silly thing to say, but the universe, the consciousness, which, as you said, organizes the multi-galaxy systems and everything else, why it would put a teacher on the other side of the continent, where they're hard to get together with, is a tricky one.
It's designed perfectly for you. Designed perfectly for you. For some, it's just next door, and for some others, it's on the other side of the continent. But it's designed just exactly for you. To bring that very question into. There is a sort of a test, a testing in a way of what is it, what do you do about it? How do you deal with that? How do you relate with that? How committed are you? It's not being committed to the teacher, it's committed to the self, to yourself.
Yes, I can see that.
And how far you're willing to go. These are all, it's perfectly designed for you.
Mm.
to contemplate it and to how to live it.
Mm.
And there, it's this is a this lifetime is once you come upon the teaching,
Yes.
you you're coming you're coming to the gate of the castle. So imagine like there is a vast kingdom with millions and millions of acres of land and villages and towns and cities and rivers and mountains, and there is a castle somewhere, the king's castle or the queen's castle. And when you come upon the teaching, you're coming to the gate, you're coming to the road that takes you to the castle, and then you're arriving at the gate of the castle. And you can stay, of course, in the territory, in the villages, in the towns. It's that's how it is. It's coming upon the teaching and coming to the recognition of truth, and not and you have to take it all the way. You have to take it all the way.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it's your question, of course. It's your question, but it's all designed just just as it needs to be. Now there are some who have the teaching available to them just 10 minutes away, and they have all sorts of other occupations. There's a good movie playing in town. There is the circus is in town.
I remember people at Raman Ashram all went to see Gandhi at their train station, just see him wave as he went by. Anyway.
Yeah, it's all just perfect as it's unfolding. It's what matters is that you continue with your contemplation, that you take at heart your understanding.
Yes.
That
yes.
what you truly are, what you truly are, has no name, no form, no shape. To just come to that and stay with that and live as that and be that and recognize that. An unbroken recognition of the self.
Yeah. This may be another subject, but that teaching, especially, it's very exemplified in Bhagavad Gita, that do what you do, do what is your thing to do, and don't care about the results. Do what it is, what consciousness or self clear message to do, and don't worry about the results. And finally, that's meaning something to me after hearing it for so long.
Yeah, but it's important that whatever you do, you don't do it from a personal standpoint.
Is that true for everything? Eating breakfast, getting together with your sweetheart,
You know, the body
Mm,
is hungry. There is no person there.
mm,
The the body, the body mind is a social animal.
mm,
There is no person in there. I just I just I just saw a wonderful clip on Facebook a minute ago.
mm,
So it's this bear. I don't know if anybody else has seen it. It's this bear that is in I guess it's in captivity,
mm,
and there is a small, teeny tiny pond right next to the bear.
mm.
And this bird, maybe a small crow, fell in the water and is flipping the wings.
Oh,
They want to come out. They want
oh,
to come out.
did the bear rescue it?
And the bear just moving around. Oh, you have to see this clip. It's on Facebook. If I can locate it later, I will send it to you.
Okay.
So the bear is just chewing on some nuts, or I don't know. Walks next to the pond and sees the bird is just flipping, trying to come out. It can't come out, and then the bird just moves along the edge of the pond, and at some point, and it's still like chewing on this and chewing on that. And at some point, it sort of reaches down with both its huge paws and
Uh-huh.
and its grout, its mouth, and it sort of grabs the bird, pulls the bird out of the water, and flops the bird down on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and it immediately just goes back to eating the corn or whatever, eating the nuts and foraging around, and the bird is
Right.
just like is on the side, and after like a couple of minutes, the bird sort of moves a little bit and is
Yeah.
dazed, and then it sort of gets sort of back on its feet, but
Mhm.
the bear wasn't waiting to say, oh, for the bird to say thank you, oh, what a wonderful bear you are, how did you do that for me? Nothing. It was just totally forgot about the bird.
Yeah,
Thanked
right.
that bird, but it was totally forgot about the bird. It was just,
Right.
you could have, as if nothing happened.
Yeah, yeah.
So look at this. Look at this. This is such a teaching. It's just
Hmm.
that there can be a response. It's completely. It seems to be like personal, but it's completely impersonal. There is an intelligence. There is you know. Of course, in another case, if it was a fish, the bear would have grabbed the fish and eaten it. With the same, the same disregard for. It's just
Hmm.
um, so. But coming back to uh, yes, yes, that any activity that you do,
Hmm.
the person is add-on. It's an add-on.
Hmm.
You add on, oh, look what I did. I did this for you,
Hmm.
or I am doing this for myself, or for what I did, or what I am doing.
Hmm.
That's an add-on. This
Yes.
does not mean that you do not feed the body or call friends and be with friends or be with your lover, because there is this beautiful expression in this waking dream of
Mhm.
loving each other and listening
Yes.
to each other and caressing each other and being available to each other. It's beautiful,
Hmm. Hmm.
but it is impersonal,
Hmm. Hmm.
and whenever you add the personal, then you're adding a virus. You're adding a me in time. That's me that's doing something for a certain reason. There is a certain purpose.
Hmm. Yes, and with the idea that this ha this needs to happen, otherwise it's no good. Otherwise there's trouble. This,
Yeah,
if
right.
that's not there, we just
Yes,
go on, no? And
yes.
clarity.
There is like an impression of a personal consequence,
Hmm.
and it haunts you. So the
Hmm.
personal consequence might be that or did I do right or wrong?
Yes.
It haunts you. You're expecting something, you're waiting for something, you're anticipating something, you're concerned about something.
Mhm.
There isn't. There is a trace. When there is a personal, when you add the person to your activity, you leave a trace, and
Mhm.
a trace as if something that needs to be fixed, something that needs to be maintained, adjusted, corrected.
Mhm. Mhm.
While when you act out of this spontaneous intelligence and presence and
Mhm.
freedom, there is a disregard for the consequences. Of course,
Mhm.
you're hoping to that
Mhm.
you're advancing the cause, that you're
Yes.
helping somebody or whatever. That
Mhm.
you're you're acting, but you're acting. There is a you're acting out of love,
Mhm.
but there isn't an expectation that
Mhm.
you might be wishing for it to work out. But if it doesn't work out that way, well, it works out another way.
Mhm. Mhm.
You see, it's all is well. It's not that
Mhm.
way is the way it has to go, and then it's hooray. And if it
Mhm.
goes that way, that other way, then it's a flop. No, it's not that way.
Mhm. Yes, this must be the deeper meaning of when people have said it's God's will. That must be the
Yes.
if there's a good meaning to that.
Mhm.
That
You
must be
see,
it.
God wills everything.
Mm.
God wills
So
everything.
including whatever whatever we're looking at. Yes.
In in a way, even ignorance is God's will,
Mm.
and awakening from ignorance is
Mm.
God's will.
Hmm. Yes,
So
and the
God
excitement
wills
about it.
God wills to forget itself
Hmm.
in its identification with the body mind in order to experience this separate experience,
Hmm.
and it wills itself back.
Yeah.
So if you consider that everything is God's will and everything is God's play,
Mm-hmm.
then who's being hurt?
Right. Right. And the play of the three gunas, the the tamas, rajas, and sattva, the play of the gunas. Who set that up?
Absolutely,
The consciousness. So it's in fact,
absolutely,
when I was younger, I used to think that yin was good and yang was bad because
right.
you know
Yeah.
just the way I had it set up.
Yeah. Having said all that, Ananda,
Yes.
um, it is when you walk out and it's raining, it makes perfect sense, and it's happier to
Mm-hmm.
have an umbrella and to be wearing a trench coat. Yes?
Yes.
So, in the same way, when you're remembering truth, when you're recalling
Yes.
and contemplating truth,
Mm.
then there is happiness.
Mm-hmm.
There is the happy dream, and also there is the revelation of the self that is beyond the dream. There is a
Mm-hmm.
happiness that is beyond the dream.
Mm-hmm.
The light of the sun is beyond the light of the moon, the shining onto the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Whether there is a moon upon which the sunlight shines, which is very beautiful, or
Mm-hmm.
not,
Mm-hmm.
the sunlight is the magnificence of the sun is
Yes.
there.
Yes.
So although all is God's will,
Yes.
there is a beauty and a joy that is beyond the mind when you turn your attention towards towards God, towards truth, towards the reality. And it's not sufficient to understand that or to know that.
Mm-hmm.
It is not sufficient to know there is a very wonderful restaurant in town. What's nice is to be invited to the meal and enjoy the meal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ananda, beautiful.
Thanks.
Thank you for the question. Okay. Sandy, hello, Sandy. So Sandy says, why do I always identify with the specific body-mind and not identify with a different body-mind? That's a good question. So Sandy, although identification is local, that which identifies is universal. Although the mind is local and limited, that which shines onto the mind shines onto all minds. So at the local level, there is a local impression. At the mind level, there is a limited impression. So anyway, from the mind's perspective, the world is limited to this experience. But at the consciousness level, at the dimension of consciousness, the experience is universal. It's not limited to a mind. It is actually, it encompasses all minds and beyond the mind. It encompasses all minds since it is that one light, one consciousness that shines onto all minds. And it is beyond all minds because consciousness shines onto itself. So the sun light shines onto hundreds and thousands and millions of various planets and various comets and so on. It is that one sunlight that illuminates all these hundreds of thousands of planets and comets, etc. And every planet has its different configuration, its different structure, different size, different composition. So the light shines differently on it. On the moon, there are big craters and shadows and shades and valleys and so on. On the Earth, there are no craters, there's lakes and rivers and oceans and mountains. So at the local level, at the mind level, the impression is different. But at the universal level, it's the one light, one consciousness. And the sun shines irrespective of whether there are planets or not. It shines onto, it is the light, it shines onto itself. And knowing yourself beyond the mind level is the journey to the self. You start with the impression that I am the mind, I am this person with this particular experience. But in your contemplation of what is it that perceives this perception, what is it that truly hears these words, you are turning your attention to the source. You are turning your attention to the light. You, the light, you, awareness that is aware of this perception. Turn your attention towards awareness, towards whatever it is that perceives this perception. And as you turn your attention from the world, body, mind, onto the source, onto the reality that perceives, you are on your way home. Also, in looking at your question, of what interest would it be, or how interesting would it be if mind A knew mind B? If you knew every thought that I'm thinking, every word that I'm going to say, which means that you would know everything that I'm going to do, of how boring that would be. You'd be like living with a robot that you programmed, and you know the program of this robot, and the robot just moves, and you know exactly how it's going to move. It's going to now vacuum the carpet, then it's going to go to the kitchen, it's going to chop the vegetables, it's going to cook the meal. What sort of fun would it be to be relating mind A relating to mind B, where you know everything that this other mind is going to think and is going to do? So the way the play is orchestrated is that minds interact with each other without knowing each other. Mind A does not know mind B, but mind A, it interacts with mind B, and there is an amusement and a joyful interaction. Sometimes it's not so joyful when there is identification as a me and a you. So there is an interaction, and this interaction is possible because there is a larger dimension that encompasses all minds, encompasses both of these minds, and makes them interact. It's like the two fish in the ocean, they come together, they're able to interact, swim together, whatever they do together. But they're only able to interact together because there is the ocean that brings them together in that common space. And that which makes it possible for minds to interact is consciousness. So there is an orchestrator, you could say, of all minds, and the orchestrator or the choreographer of all minds is beyond the mind, is the awareness, consciousness, presence, God, Atman, the absolute, whichever way you refer to it. It's like there is a puppeteer, and with the strings of the puppeteer there are millions of characters, but it's one puppeteer that is orchestrating the choreography the play of infinite minds. And it's the journey to the self is getting to know yourself, not simply at the body-mind level, but to know yourself, your true self, which is beyond the mind. I hope I have addressed your question, Sandy. Just one more thing about your question is that the identification with a specific body-mind is not necessary. This will become clear to you in your contemplation, that it is possible to live with the conditions that have been sort of presented to you at the body-mind level, but without identification. So the body gets hungry, the body gets tired, the body needs socialization and invites friends over. But you don't need to identify with the body. There is an intelligence at the body-mind level that operates all that, that takes care of that, that says, okay, it's time for me to do some work and get some money to pay the loan, to pay my mortgage, or to buy gasoline, to buy fuel for my vehicle if you're driving a vehicle. So that's already all taken care of in terms of all what is needed at the body-mind level is available, and so you can play this play of going to work and inviting friends and cooking a meal and going shopping and so on without identification, without adding the personal dimension, without identifying as a body-mind. And that's an important contemplation for you, to be open to the possibility that, yes, I can live whatever is unfolding without being identified as Sandy. This does not mean that when you are in a crowd and somebody says, hello, Sandy, you're not going to ignore them. You're going to say, oh, I'm not Sandy, I am consciousness. That would be silly. At the dream level, you are Sandy, so you say, yes, hello, how are you? But you can say, hello, how are you, when somebody says, hello, Sandy, without believing that you are Sandy, without identifying. It's like an actor gets on a stage and plays a role of Othello or Hamlet. And so they play this role, but they know, and when they play the role, they sort of get into the role. But deep down, they know that they are not Othello or not Hamlet. So it's important for you to do this journey, this contemplation, to come to consciousness. Consciousness being whatever right now, this very moment, perceives this perception, hears these words. To come to know yourself as consciousness. And then you can live the dream in a playful, joyful, pleasant, without identification and without personal concerns. Well, thank you for your question, Sandy. Hello, Isaac. Hello, Isaac. Isaac, you
Hello,
write.
Heidi.
Hello, Isaac. So you're writing, Isaac, I'm feeling life as a sweet sadness. Where is happiness? Happiness is at the heart of the sweet sadness. Happiness is not out there. It's your very being. It's not at the mind level. It's not at the feeling level. It's deeper than that. It's at the heart level, but not the feeling. Sweet sadness is very beautiful. There's a loving quality in the sweet sadness. It's different from feeling sorry for oneself. That's a different thing. But in the sweet sadness there is a stillness, because we're experiencing the sadness and the sweetness. But when we want to move away, then we're moving away from the happiness.
Mm-hmm.
It is this movement away that separates, that creates the impression that there is a problem. Something else needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be different. Something different needs to happen. And as soon as that is believed, then the mind starts to get troubled. And there are old patterns, old feeling states that arise. We're familiar with them, we've seen them before so many times.
Yeah.
They're not, there isn't happiness in them.
No.
So happiness is what we are. It's not an experience that the mind can have.
Mm-hmm.
The mind can dissolve in happiness. It can come to rest. And as it comes to rest, it rests in happiness. It's different from numbing the mind with a substance, or numbing the mind with a mantra, or numbing the mind, forcefully sort of bringing the mind to stillness. There is a stillness that's there, Isaac.
Yeah.
It's just awaiting your recognition, awaiting you're saying yes to it. You're yes to presence, yes to stillness, yes to being. And the mind talks a different language. The mind talks about what's next, what do I need to do, where am I at, where is he at, when will I be? The mind is always referring to a me in time, and as soon as that's on board, it's like, oh my goodness, then I don't have this and I don't have that. It diminishes. It diminishes the wholeness, the totality, the grandeur of presence to a me experience, a personal experience. And as soon as there is the personal, there is something lacking, something missing, a companion, a situation, a relationship, an experience, etc. Because that's what the me is about. It's about what's next. So how come it's not like this, or it should be like that, and when will it be? When will it finally give me what I want? When will it? It's not peaceful.
No. Always, what's the next problem for me?
Yes, absolutely. What's the next problem?
Yeah.
And in some cases, it's like, oh my God, what is the next problem? Oh, it's happening to me. In other cases, it's what's the next problem? I can solve the problem. I can fix it. Yeah, it's the same. It's
the same.
It's a flip of it's the same coin.
Yeah.
But if we love problems, and then we're served. We've got all the mind is a problem factory. It will imagine. It cannot create a problem because there are no problems.
Yeah.
There's only one creation and one creator, which is consciousness.
It's like a drug.
Yeah, right. If you look at a drug, it's basically it operates at the body-mind level. It operates at the body-mind level, makes the body-mind feel something. But what is it that experiences the body? The drug operates on the body, but what is it that experiences the body, that perceives the body? There is something that perceives the sensation in the body.
Yeah.
And what perceives the sensation in the body is not the body. So if you have a sensation in your chest, it is you that perceives the sensation that's occurring in your chest. It's not the body that senses. It is consciousness that senses. The body is sort of a medium that gives a specific expression. See? So you feel your toe when you feel your toe and you feel your tongue. The feeling of your toe is different from the feeling of your tongue.
Yeah.
But it is the same you that perceives the sensation of your toe and that perceives the sensation of your tongue. Although the sensation of your toe, let's call it sensation A, and the sensation of your tongue is sensation B, they're different sensations, what perceives them is not different. It's that one perceiver, which we refer to as I. So although the drug operates on the body, or the addiction operates on the body, it does not operate on consciousness. Consciousness perceives the tongue. It's the same neutral, impersonal witness. But when we add an identification, we say, "Oh, look what's happening! Look what's happening to me." At that moment, we are identified with the body. And when we identify with the body, the impression is that something is happening to me. Whatever is happening at the body level, because of the identification, it seems and feels as if it's happening to me. But nothing, in fact, is happening to me, I, the witness. Nothing ever happens to consciousness. So we usually get all worked out, I know the expression, by the feeling states. Oh my God, I'm feeling like this. Oh, now I'm feeling like that. Oh, when will I be over this feeling, you know?
And Rama, yes.
But nothing is happening to you. This is identifying with a feeling, which is at the body level, is what creates the impression that something is happening to you. And therefore, you're in trouble, and I know I need to fix this. When will I ever be cured of that? When will I ever be cured of this? See? This is why we say that the mind loves feelings, is in the feeling business, is in the feeling maintenance business. You know? It's like like the buses in the city. You know, there are thousands of buses in the city, and the mind is like the garage. The buses that need repair or washing, so on, they come into the station. The mind sort of, you know, fixes them and takes them back. You know, go run again in the city. It just keeps those buses driving around and around and around. And no, it's a bad metaphor, because the buses, they're doing a great service. They're actually taking people from location A to location B, but the feeling states, they don't take you anywhere. They repeat and repeat and repeat. So it's me and what's happening to me and my life, my mother, my dad, my friends, my aloneness, my money, my retirement, my age, my body, my health, my air, my ears, my hair, you see, you know, it's all these feeling states. You see, there is no happiness there.
No.
You imagine there is happiness and, now I'm feeling good, so I'm happy. That's nonsense. Because a minute later, you're feeling differently. Happiness does not reside at the body-mind level, at the feeling state. It resides at the consciousness. And you are consciousness, because you're conscious right now. You're aware of hearing these words, right?
Yeah.
What is it that is aware? Is it not awareness? Awareness is aware. You are this awareness. It's recognize yourself as this awareness. The awareness that is aware right now. That is untouched by feelings, by sadness, or it's untouched. When you recognize yourself as that, it's like you are in a balloon above the world. You're floating in space. There is no danger, and you're looking down at the terrain. You're looking down, mountains, no, over the ocean, a lake, over volcanoes, you know, the city, over the city. You're untouched. And when you realize that, you come to that realization that I'm awareness and nothing touches me, there is a natural relaxation and the happiness that's there. That's the happiness of presence, the happiness of awareness. then is available to you.
The problem is that I have an image about what happiness is. So I
Oh,
compare my, let's say, my feelings with what I suppose to be, for instance, laughing,
yes.
and
No, no.
that kind of things. I
Yeah,
know I have an image. Yes.
yeah. But, so the images, Isaac, about happiness arise from the mind.
Yeah.
So the mind says, "Oh, yeah, oh, happiness, yes, it's laughter." You see,
Yeah.
that's the
Right.
mind. But the
Mm,
mind is limited. It's conditioned, so it can only formulate conditioned happiness or limited happiness.
yeah.
And who wants a limited or conditional happiness? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, oh yeah, good, I'll give you happiness if you have $50,000. Okay, let's see.
Hmm.
Oh my God, who wants that? Then you have to work so hard. Let's just try to get this. Oh no, I know I need to work more. I need to. No,
Hmm.
the happiness that arises from the mind, that is defined by the mind, is infected by the limitations of the mind.
Hmm.
Is not the real happiness.
Hmm.
Happiness is beyond limitations. You see, so you cannot imagine it. You are it. You as presence, as consciousness is it. So happiness is not a result of something. It's not a result of a relationship, of a situation, of a life experience, or it's not a result of anything. Happiness is, peace is, love is, beauty is. I am. I is. I happiness is. I happiness am. No conditions, not via the mind, not via the conditioned mind, not via the body, not via the feelings, not via anything. Direct, full-fledged, then the mind can rest, and the bliss of the self is there. The mind can rest. I am. No pursuit of any feeling, no holding on, no grabbing, no seeking, just the openness of being. Just the gift of being is there. Such a marvel, such a wonderful bliss, like the light of the sun shining onto everything. No concerns, no personal concerns. Me in time, no me in time. Just pure presence, pure beingness, pure peace, pure beingness, wellness, freedom, joy. It's there, it's innate to presence. Presence is happiness, is love, is beauty, is freedom, is intelligence, is truth. Thank you for. Nice to see you, Isaac. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Yolanda. Okay, well, thank you very much for your lovely company and your love and your friendship, and we'll see you soon. Be well, be happy.
Thank you.